Last turn carrier on now.
Akor, it still says test 2, by the way.
Oh,
Let me see if I can change that from my side.
All right.
You got the lantern carrier in the building?
Yep.
Yes, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Bex says that she's going to be another 10 minutes.
All right.
Can you give me a password for Zoom?
If you just give people the link that I sent you, and you can forward that on.
I did it, but it brings me into Zoom, but without the password. The link takes me into Zoom,
Yeah.
but it's asking me for a password.
Let me check that out for you, and then I'll let you know.
Okay.
Well, can you hear my wife in the background?
No.
Lantern carrier, did you see that there was a second link below the first one? It might help.
Thought I put them all together.
There was like a follow-up email that might be in the same thread for you.
I can have a look. I don't think I got that one there.
Daedalus, does Jordan have many cases? Georgia, sorry.
Last I checked, it might be around 500.
Okay.
It wasn't really, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really much.
No.
We've had 11 deaths.
That's it?
Yeah, as of 9 hours ago, it seems.
Wow, you're doing good. I mean, there are 11
I guess
people.
we just reacted quickly.
Yeah, they locked it down quick, I guess.
That, and I think at the time, February, March, not many people were like coming to Georgia, but going around inside Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are you planning to go next?
Back to Warsaw, Poland.
Okay, we'll be starting in about 5. That's already.
Go on.
Seconds or minutes?
Hours.
3, 2.
Days. Who cares? We got nowhere to be.
Someone go home quickly.
I actually have to go somewhere on Wednesday.
Ooh.
Somewhere.
One of the lucky ones. Where are you going?
Yeah. I've got to do like this one moment of key worker stuff that I do. I have to cycle for 70 kilometers to get there, which is fine, but wow. And then there's an island, and on the island is a shed, and in the shed is a very particular type of recording studio, and I'm going there to record like English language training for the next few months for students. And they're disinfecting it and then unlocking it for me and then going. And then I just go there by myself, do the day, and then go back again.
What an adventure.
Like.
Oh, I'm not first soft-spoken. That is incorrect.
Oops.
Hell no.
Sorry, Emily, do you want to go first?
Harry Vadge already agreed and she's very happy with that. I think you misheard. Emily and Amy sound very similar.
Yeah. So can you?
Hell no.
You know what? For the first time in my life, I'm happy to get two people's names wrong. It's not really the case with me. People normally call me Mohammed.
Yeah,
You know,
So-
Mohammed and Abdullah sound very, very similar.
quite a lot. Yeah,
All right.
that's what I'm doing.
As you can tell, yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Daedalus
Okay,
next.
ready?
Amy.
Or Daedalus next. Sorry,
No, it's wait. Are you seeing the? Are you looking at the list?
I'm looking at the list. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Adam are next.
Oh, so I'm second.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no, you didn't-
You got this. You got this.
All right. Then Daedalus is third. Amy is fourth. Angela, yep, and Nilofer, who is not here yet.
Yeah, she hasn't responded, so
All right.
we'll put her on near the end.
Then Diary. So the second half is Diary. Ben. We'll just take a 10-minute break. Bexy Bex.
Chocolate break.
All right. Just put Diary. Diary. I hope you don't mind going for the 6th person end of first half.
Pardon?
Can you go for end of the first half?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Let's see. What King's Castle?
Okay, and
Right, Akor, I'm going to mute my mic, but if you're ready to get started,
okay.
you can. I'm going to update the Google Docs as soon as people respond back. Okay.
Okay. One person has responded.
Oh yes, Magdalena.
Yeah. All right. So are we about to do this? 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go. Game time.
Are you ready? You know how to do one of those proper, movie trailer type voice.
Have you seen the movie In a World?
No.
It's about that guy in a world, and it's a fictional thing where he dies and they're trying to find the replacement.
That is cool.
Now.
Check it out, it's really good.
All right. So see now. World.
If I yawn during anyone's poem, it's not you, it's me.
All right, let's begin.
Come on.
So, welcome to BYOB 20th of, what's the 11th of May? 20th. Wow.
What does it matter anymore?
Time is fictional. It's not real. My name is Akor Palwa. I'm part of the crew here. We have Abdullah, Soft Spoken, and Tanika. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I hope you enjoy your poems today. Today we have a couple of open mic and poets on the open mic, and we have Poetcurious as our guest, and yeah, they're very fascinating. And it's an international crew, by the way. So we have people from Russia. Thank you very much. Georgia, yes, and I think Egypt. Someone's coming from Egypt. Somebody's coming from Egypt.
We're waiting on her to come up.
What?
A long
Yeah,
way.
hopefully. And so, yeah, we know how we go here. First off, we have been sponsored by Brent 2020, the Borough of Culture. And it's such a good thing to have this, the support for art and poetry and creativity like this, because for everyone who is here, you have an idea of poetry, you know something about it. You may have read one of those little poems, one of those poems when you're younger, or you write poetry now, or someone has read a piece for you and you're like, I didn't dig poetry before, but this kind of makes sense. So we all know what poetry does for us. I mean, especially in this kind of time, it does bring a certain sense of understanding of the period we're in and how society is just, how we're trying to deal with things. And in another way, it would paint a world that is beautiful for us. And that's one of the things I really like about poetry. It's just the colors you can put into just how we exist. So I hope everyone enjoys today. I'm going to be a sacrificial poet, but before that, we'll go through some of the rules. The basic thing is, if you hear any poem you like or any line you like, what are you supposed to do? Get some clicks, please. And if you're watching on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitch or on YouTube, those emojis and all those flyers and everything should just keep coming up. And for everyone who's going to present anything tonight, there'll be a lot of, they'll put their Instagram handle so you can follow them. Some people have books, some people have records, some people have shows that they're promoting, some people have shows that they're running, even online or offline when we get back to our normal, regular way of living on Earth. So make sure you support every artist here, make sure you follow them. And if you've never written anything before, you should, if anyone inspires you here, you should write. And I mean, you can share it to the person and they'll most likely want to see what you've done. So yeah, cool. I'll be reading the first poem and here we go. I will try to be honest with you. You once let my hand rest in yours like you were a balloon that needed an anchor, and I held on like you were a hug I desperately needed. And so we knew then that this world was not as cold as we cried it to be. Some nights are still too quiet to sleep in. You are to me the warmth that drives away the dark and the hug that pulls breath back into me. In daylight, I dream of poetry and songs that weave hearts and tears together till distance is pulled apart and eyes are only filled with butterflies. I want us to sit and exchange old stories that will flourish as they are born and blossom with new colors and feathers. We knew that when we planted memories, we would one day sit beneath their shade and we would run our fingers tenderly over their old barks and branches, and we would find on them all the debris time had left off, and we would trace its flow until our fingers fall off its leaves and into tomorrow. I want us to sprinkle new laughter, fetched from our vast trenches, over every road we trod, and every couch we rest, in every wave we serve, and in every room we glance. We walked into this sunlight and let it caress our face until our hearts were filled with hope and more adventure. I want every footprint to grow new flowers and forests and fountains and mountains and rivers. And when the sun rays slipped from our cheeks to our backs, they grew shadows so beautiful and long that they fell for days off the edge of the earth. I want today to end with the tomorrow we dreamed together, with us digging new earth and new ridges with both old and new seeds, and with both old and new seeds growing into new memories. I want to sit under these new branches like we always did, and run our hands over its new bark and let its fingers fall off its new leaves as the dream of another tomorrow, one where we plant new memories. Thank you.
Hey, come on.
Love that.
You tell him, Akor. You tell him.
Yes. So the first poet we have is my hairy veg. She runs a night in London, and it is called, it has one of the coolest names, by the way. Just give me a second. And it's called I Shouted Out My Ex's Name. All right. So yeah, please take it away. I'll mute everybody. Just give me a second.
Should we mute ourselves when someone else is reading, by the way? I think.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh.
Woo-hoo.
And sorry. Just give me a second. I'm just.
There it is, Emily.
All right, cool.
I think you need to unmute Emily, not me.
Like,
Can do that. Is that all right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This is called Bumping Into My Ex, the things I wish I hadn't said. I spy my ex at Angel Station, and I do that thing you do when you pretend you haven't seen someone even though they're in plain view and you have perfect vision. We lock eyes and I metaphorically poo my pants as I try and think of something to say, just some casual, off-the-cuff, witty, profound, self-deprecating pants. I'm inching towards him, it's raining, water squelching in each shoe. He's wearing his old perfume, Versace jeans, baby blue. The umbrella I am clutching turns out to be my saving grace. I hold it at an angle to help hide my spasming face. When he smiles, our relationship flashes before my eyes. The good, the bad, the ugly, and all the things we tried, like the first time we kissed, he had chewing gum in his mouth. I later discovered he kept that gum stuck underneath his couch. Or the first time we had sex, both virgins without a clue, so we went on Wikipedia to figure out just what to do. The wiki page was insightful. Apparently bonobos love a casual shag, but the fish section was disturbing and nearly made me gag. Okay, back to the moment. Angel Station in the rain. He says, "Hello, Emily," and asks me about my day. I say things are great, that I have grown. I've developed emotionally and spiritually, finally come into my own. Okay, this is what actually happened. I say things are going great, but I've been going to therapy. I recommend he goes too. After all, he dated me. Then I try and take back the therapy thing because I think it is an overshare. I just wanted this to be cash, act all aloof like I don't care. He looks a little baffled, but is perfectly sweet. He talks about work and a deadline he has to meet. I ask about his mom, and then he asks about my dad. The lack of anything meaningful between us is making me a little sad. I go in for a hug, a fitting end to our rendezvous. It is soft and it is tender and gives me some closure too. Okay, this is what actually happened. I go in for a hug because conversation has gone dead. But I'm still clutching that damned umbrella, so it's a shoulder bump instead. Then we go our separate ways. He goes left and I go right. And as I stand on the escalator, I think that went all right, but I thought things would be different, that we'd pick up from our old flow. I guess my ex is just somebody that I used to know. Thanks, guys. That's it for me. That's all true. I'm serving you the realness. Please appreciate that.
Well done, Emily.
I love that.
amazing one. Oh, wow, that's like, when meeting your ex is very weird. Like the first meeting is weird. It's, yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad you're good though.
Akor, whilst
Yeah.
I got you here quickly, sorry. Bexy is trying to get in.
She's in.
Oh, she's in.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Bexy.
All right. So, yeah. So thank you for that. It was a pleasure. Can you put your, your handle, everything, and let's know your page for your poetry and your event. All right. Cool. So next we have Adoma.
Hi.
Woo!
Take it away.
Yay, what's up?
Awesome. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
I thought third would come a little bit later, but we are here now.
Don't worry. You got this.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. This is a poem I wrote a little while back called A People of Paradox. And yeah, let's get into it. They are born of Gaia. Emerged from within her deep-seated womb, they stood proudly at her peaks, then slipped and fell deeper into her valleys, their crowns reaching always for the heavens, yet their feet are still shackled into the very soil from which they came. Presently, they are mud, dirt and clay and black, insignificant, nothing, a stain, a blight infestation, a great volcano, a bright star set to implode. They are all shadows even in the twilight. But now, they are jewels, opal and onyx, not the absence of color, but everything that ever was or ever will be. A guiding light, a multitude, a great nation. They are stealers. They are lazy, the backbone of all of it. They are stealers, learned that from thieves. They live their lives without direction. They are innovators, the progenitors of all paths. They hate themselves, but will always hate you more. Held captive only by their own minds. They are limitless in potential. They are all their skin. They are all more. Thank you so much.
Woo, 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 woo.
Oh, that wasn't so bad.
Oh,
That was good.
Well, Adama.
all right, cool.
That's it.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh man, I love the line where he said, "No, not the absence of color. They're everything that ever was and ever is."
Thank you. Thank
Oh man,
you.
that's cool. Yeah, thanks for
Thanks, guys.
that. Yeah, how long have you been writing?
So I picked up spoken word kind of in a creative writing group when I was around 15ish at school. And then, life kind of just happened. I went to uni. Everything was just a big distraction. I was just focused on grades. And I didn't feel like I had time for hobbies. But then someone kind of invited me to an open mic event, and they knew that I used to write poetry. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the whole night, I just hear, and onto the stage, Adama. And I was like, what? And I was like, no. But thankfully, that person knew that I had that urge to kind of do spoken word again. And I got up on the stage and I recited one of the poems I remembered the most, and the reception was so great and the whole evening was just so inspiring. And I thought, this is something I can't put down. So I've been slowly trying to get back into it and just hold on to it as it's more than a hobby now. It's something that just brings me a lot of peace and joy. And especially now during quarantine and everything, it is probably the most fun thing in my day. So yeah, I just love it.
Thanks. And thanks for being
so
here.
much.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next, we have someone from Georgia, the country, not the state, but he's in the States.
Other way around.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
So close.
Okay.
He's from the States, but in Georgia.
My bad. Okay. Wrong information. Okay. Next is
froze, actually. Uh-oh. I think he froze.
Oh, hell no. All right, cool. We got you. Cool. Take it away. You good?
Me?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
What's happening, man?
No much. Connection just died.
Cool. All right. You have the floor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Don't you know? I run this place. I've begun this race. I'm the reason it's this way. I'll remind you of what you don't have. I'm the one who gave you your power. You know how you get back. You love my darkness. You hide your heart. It's funny, the things you do as you grow more and more heartless. It's your insecurities that fuel me, and my powers lasted millennia and some centuries. I am the American dream. While you Brexit on out of here, just laugh. Am I still connected?
Yes, you are.
Okay, sorry. While you Brexit on out of here, I just laugh at the scene with the rise of extremists and nationalists. It's plain to me I no longer need to control you by these strings. I speak every single language on the planet. And no matter how well you manage to hide, I'm the reason you want your country back. I made you believe that the scariest colors were black, while you busy marching into my name chanting Polska, Dalapalakov, while your own cousins are getting threatened and kicked off the British Isles by similar white smiles. It's me that thrives in the net. You know, the very people that see everybody's evil except for what lies within. While you shoot up your clubs, schools, and church under my influence, that you never lock up those kids because they're way too affluent. It's your inaction that gives me traction, for I'm always near. Now let us pray. You know I need to say one more death to announce to the world who it is that controls your actions. So now, go ahead and say, I am your fears.
Woo!
You alive? Oh,
Still there?
Wi-Fi real.
Yep.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
oh, done daily.
Okay. All right.
Smashed it again, bro.
Mhm. Oh man. Okay, wait. I kind of got your info wrong. Where are you?
I'm in Georgia, the country of Georgia,
Okay.
not the state.
Phew.
But I'm originally from Texas.
All right. Cool. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, this is the second time I'm hearing you, and I want to read your work a lot more. Like, you have a book coming out or something? What's the deal?
So my recent focus has been music.
Okay.
I mix a little bit of poetry and rap in there. I'll go ahead and say what it is. Metamorphosis EP. I recently just found a guy that I can record with, so I'm working on the next project, but that's my latest project. You can find that everywhere.
Thanks.
Spotify, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Okay, please make sure you follow him, and yeah, his work is amazing. I really like it, and I want to read and hear a lot more. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you. Hopefully
All right.
connection's good.
Nice. So next is Amy.
Hello. Hey,
Hello.
everyone. Hello. So I wrote this poem at a Mind Over Matter Connect event, which is it's like a sort of combination of a writing workshop and like a mental health thing, I guess. And I wasn't actually going to read it, but Poetcurious was admiring my fridge magnets earlier, and it reminded me about it because something I'm really struggling with, which sounds really privileged but isn't, is not being able to leave where I am, like the country, because I find that it's often a last resort when I feel really bad. If I just leave the place I'm in, I always feel immediately fine, and it's kind of weird how much of an antidote it is every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is about that, and for anyone who also finds traveling that much of a tonic. To the adventurer. I know, you haven't been to Mexico, and now you have to wait. No, you can't ride in the driver's cabin on a bus somewhere near Cluj-Napoca. Can't dance with the locals at the beach cafe in Bossa. You will not be holding octopi spearfished by the umbrella rental men, and London doesn't have volcanoes. There'll be none of them. How will you remember who you are? Remember that you're beautiful and valid, even with no context. Loved immediately by strangers, by someone's grandpa in a suburb of Lviv. When will you sing and not be shy again? Anonymous and free and utterly yourself. The walls, they seem to be on wheels now. pushed closer every minute by a team of Tory, genitalia swinging, pig head, bird brain dogs. Your world is small, between a bowl of porridge and a shower. And an episode is something that was meant to be lighthearted, but it's painful to sit down to. And you travel only with your mouth, through tacos and lasagna, Thai green curry, mole and tandoori tempeh, with a temper that is always just one sniff of side-eye from some full-on fisticuffs. You bike to nearby neighborhoods and hope to find an unfamiliar corner. You try hard to treat old streets as new. You wish for smells you can't quite put your finger on. But most of all, you wish for people. People on the buses, at the markets, round the campfire, setting up their sofa bed for you or fighting for the bottom bunk, teaching you the first few notes of something special in their language, which is so much lovelier than English. People jamming late at night or beeping horns at crazy junctions, asking questions, telling stories, clearing up in simple moments what once seemed like insurmountable predicaments. Cures in flour and water, in walks that blister toes, flirtations that remind you that this globe's enormous and your person's out there somewhere, and that life is long and colourful and offers paths in infinite directions. You will get to Mexico. This is a waiting room. And wait, you must. But we're here too. It's not the same, but here's a meme to get you through another hour, and a Zoom to occupy a Monday evening that would otherwise be spent reading the news. Here is a weekly clap, to clap our heroes on the back as they pack 10 days' work into an afternoon, and for the 37th afternoon and counting, here is a smile for you as we leave space when passing on a narrow pavement, and here a WhatsApp group in case you're out of bread. Someone you know knows someone who's already dead because of bats or business conferences or ski trips or the government. Be grateful. You have healthy lungs to breathe in that sea air, a tongue that tastes to taste new spices, and a heart still beating to be sped right up by climbing something, finding something, loving something. Something's got to give. They're working on it. So, while waiting on it, stare at clouds. Remember how much time you spent on this when you were 7. Phone a friend from school who you'd still know if work or bull or responsibility had not split you apart. Explore an art form that you've always feared having a go at. Volunteer. You've got a lot to offer. Share it. Check your privilege, whether it's a pool out back, a kitchen floor to sleep on, or your sense of humor. You will get through this. We are different, but it's difficult for all of us and doable with all of us. So wait and trust and dream of enchiladas until Mexico is possible again.
Amy, you effing killed it.
Come on.
Amy.
Yeah. Like, whoa. This is the second time I'm hearing that poem. And it's like,
That was good,
there's
Amy.
so much in it.
Thank you.
It's like your world is small. And then you go on to paint this universe that can exist in a person's small world. That is, thanks.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks,
amazing.
guys.
When are you going to Mexico, by the way?
It's actually Brazil, but poetic license. Mexico sounds nicer.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a while.
It's
They've
like,
got even worse than we do with their government. But yeah,
no, it's not Mexico, it's Brazil. Same difference.
tell that to the Brazilians.
Oh man, but that's cool. Oh man, I love to go to Brazil. Like, yeah. Did anyone have any holiday planned then, you know?
I was planning to apply for funding to go and learn this cool thing that I wrote about before in Brazil, but that can wait.
Okay, wait, what cool? Like, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, some other time.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. And next is, I've heard her read a poem before. She's from Russia, which is cool. And yeah, her poetry is very cool and soothing. It has a certain sense of calm in it, and Angela's work is just amazing. So yeah, Angela, you have the floor.
Woo, 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 woo.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for such kind words. I just wanted to say to Amy, like I've seen her perform a few times, and every time she speaks, I just feel so emotional, and it's just, there's so much kindness in your words, Amy, that I don't know how to follow this up, because this is like, I want to just sit with it and just have a bit of a cry, like a good cry, you know, in a good way. So thank you for your kind words. Like, it's so interesting how you said that my poetry is calm. I find it really dramatic and dark. But people tell me, oh no, it's like really soothing. And I'm like, okay. So today I'm feeling this poem. So I'm gonna share it with you. It's called Dry Morning. Dry morning, heavy breathing, asleep. Echoes of whispers and yearning. Echoes appear without warning. My lips, my tongue, bitter. You think I'm a quitter? Take that back. My eyes, sore. I'll be better to you, I promise. You deserve so much more. Take that back. Don't want to have it, I don't want to keep it. You lied and I believed it, and
You frozen.
Oh no.
You frozen, so stop if you're still going.
It might be just a very dramatic pause.
Could be.
Poetry.
You froze, Angela, if you can hear us.
Angela, if you can hear us, you're frozen.
oh
Rewind.
Rewind.
no,
You gotta do it
oh
again.
no, damn. That's okay, you guys, it's all right.
You
Wait,
froze around the big take that back, like quite near the beginning.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
That's
taking
right.
right to the beginning as well. You broke the internet with that.
yeah, damn it. Okay, I'll go from the very beginning, so that for the sake of the, you know,
Yeah.
for the sake
For
of
real.
it. Come on, you guys. It's okay. I'm sorry
Hello,
I have
Angela.
to begin
Hello.
it again, and you have to listen to it over again. You know, go through this. It's okay, you guys. Come on. Dry motherfucking morning. Wait, hold up. No, I gotta begin again. Dry morning. Heavy breathing, asleep. Echoes of whispers and yearning. Echoes appear without warning. My lips, my tongue, bitter. You think I'm a quitter? Take that back. My eyes, sore. I'll be better to you, I promise. You deserve so much more. Take that back. Don't want to have it, I don't want to keep it. You lied and I believed it, and I lived it, and now it lives in me. Your legacy, your cruelty, my cruelty. It's all in here, in my body, everywhere. Look, can't you see? It's burning red with the words that you said. Listen closer, do try, can't you hear? I'm still screaming your name with my skin set aflame, with my lungs breathing shame, with my hands holding blame. It lives in my ribs, my back, my hips, and when I go to sleep, beside it sits, inside it hits. My body stores images, fragments, pauses, phases, phrases, inner moments, quiet moments, secret moments that come alive out of nowhere with additional force. And I could be anywhere in the world, feeling the space, filling the gaps, drinking on taps, reading out loud, laughing louder, trying harder, running farther, doing better. But my prison is always with me, and the inmates are keen to be heard. I don't need your pity. It is what it is. Needle by needle, I get rid of this. My head hurts, translating pain into words. So get out, be gone. Take your knives, take your daggers. So long. Thank you very much.
Woo, woo, woo.
Thank you.
Don't know how to clap loudly. I mean, click loudly.
Oh, that was amazing. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for listening the first part over again as well.
Oh, Angela, you can do it again and again and again all night as well. We love your poetry.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys.
Well, thank you.
It's really good.
All right, cool. So we've come to the last person in this half, and we would invite Diary next. Diary.
Hi, sorry about that. Hello.
Hola.
Hi.
Hello.
So yeah, I'm gonna do a piece. Before I start my piece, actually, I'm just gonna If everyone can unmute themselves, I just want to ask a quick question. When I say love, what's the one word that comes to your mind about what love is?
If I told
Just
you that, I'd have to
throw
feel
one word out there, just one word.
Faith.
Trust.
Trust.
Support. Okay, cool. So this piece is called Love Is. Love will catch you like a stray. Wrong place, wrong time, no time to run away. Love will strangle you, abuse you, misuse you, belittle you, at the same time provide a sense of peace. It's a sense that pleases you. Love will make you breathless. Love is limitless and endless. Love can take its time to grow. It can take a day to fall in love. Love is unpredictable. Love is so predictable. Love is routine. Love is spontaneous. Love will catch you when you're chilling and just bystanding. Love will live inside you as hate and fool you to think it's outstanding. Love will make you love, and love to be loved. We love those who love us, and we love love. It's so amazing. Love, a warm blanket that covers you and touches you and makes you feel wanted. Love will make you and break you at the same time. It will give you a new sense of life, a reason to live, and within seconds rip your heart apart to make you wish for death. Love is death. Love is life. Love is affection. Love is attention. Love is perfection. Love is obsession. Love is contradiction. Love is fiction. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not boast. Love isn't proud, and it doesn't dishonor. Love is not self-seeking. Love is selfish. Love is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love keeps records and records and records of wrongs. You stab me in my back, I will stab you back. We were supposed to be friends. Now I have to get revenge. Love is vengeful. Love is forgiving. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. Love always protects. Love always trusts. Love always hopes. It always perseveres. Love never fails. Love fails. We fail those we love. We love those who fail us. Love. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. It's all good. If I would have to ask, what made you write that poem?
Do you know what? Oh man, you know, I think I was thinking about my life, right? And all the different people I've loved. And I was thinking about this thing called love, you know, and bad relationships, we call it love. Great relationships, it's love. People let you down, but you love them. You let people down, but you didn't mean to, you love them. It's just this whole confusing thing, you know, that love is, you know, and that's kind of where my inspiration drew from, really. And I was a part of a project called the Y Project that's with women who've been in abusive relationships and domestic violence. And again, like they stay for love, you know? So love is such a broad thing, and it's such a confusing and complex thing. And that's kind of what inspired the piece, yeah.
I like the way you portrayed that in the poem, because it sounded like you were just, you know, describing this idealistic idea of love, and then you started fluctuating through, you know, love disappoints, and I'm like, okay, wait, hold up, and then you know, back and forth. We can see your debate with yourself in the poem, and that's such a brilliant piece. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Cool. All right, so next we are going to have just a little bit of our headliner. His name is Poetcurious, aka Chris. He's an amazing poet, rapper, photographer, because I saw some of his work today. And yeah, so first up, like, just tell us about yourself a little bit, and then we'll play one of your videos before we go on a break. Hello, Chris.
Yeah, that's a lot you already said, man. Like, yeah, I do a lot of creative stuff. Like, my poetry comes from a life spent with hip hop. Like, I'm a rapper and a DJ, and I grew up in, like, I'm a Brent boy, so it's good to be on here repping Brent.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of my upbringing, like growing up in Northwest London, was spent around music. And yeah, that kind of informs what I write, like heavily. And that kind of, when I was younger, it's like, I always say this, I hated poetry when I was a kid. Like, because school really can make you hate poetry. It just turns it into a thing you're meant to write about. And at the same time, I'm like listening to bare hip hop, and I'm getting into like rapping really badly when I'm young, I ain't gonna lie. But it took a long time to kind of see that they're all part of the same thing, that hip hop is like this huge poetry movement. This like 40-year deep, like it's as old as me, like poetry movement. And I always used to feel like awkward about being the guy who would come to like the poetry open mic night and not pause in all the places that you're meant to pause for poetry to sound like poetry. And that I would kind of come and kind of rap. And I think, you know, being like, I've been probably in spoken word for like just over 10 years now. And I feel like we're now in a climate where those two worlds are really close together.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of crossover. Like, I have to shout out my good friend, Ty, who passed away this week from this virus. And a lot of people know him because of his hip hop. You know, he's like Mercury nominated, 7 albums deep, like a real kingpin in the game. Yeah, nice one, soft spoken. But the generation of poets before me know Ty because he ran open mic nights for spoken word artists in London. So there's a whole generation of like big writers, people like Selena Godden, people like Musa Okwonga, people like Polar Bear, like Chimène Suleiman, who all came up going to open mic spoken word nights run by Ty. And I think he was like really ahead of his time in seeing the connection between poetry and hip hop. My connection with him definitely helped me to kind of like accept this position of being in both. So yeah, like that's me really. Like, I'm a hip hop poet.
Cool.
From Brent, North Wheezy. Come on, bang bang.
One random question. Can you pick one book from your shelf there? Like, I mean, you can't just be chilling with those books and would not have anything to go with. Can you just chill, Abdullah?
Yeah.
Relax, bro.
No, hold on. We just need a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Just got a little bit overexcited. Sorry.
Quick, draw soft spoken.
One random book.
Just
have books behind you there.
I'll pick this one out. This is a beautiful book called Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. And it's a beautiful book of like children's poetry. And it's beautiful. It's like a classic book from, I think, the late 70s. And this is a book that I use to try and get my kids into poetry.
Is it working?
It's American, and it's like a real well-known book. But it's kind of like hip-hop poetry because it's got like a really like direct, regular meter, like a bit like Dr. Seuss has. But
have you seen the guy that's doing hip hop Dr. Seuss on YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll get your kids into poetry too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Although now it's complicated because they're my kids, they reject it just because I'm into it. And
yeah,
I have to pretend I hate poetry so that in the hope that they rebel against that.
All right, man. Thanks. Oh, cool. Yep. So just going to first thought now. Thanks.
Thank you. Heavy breathing, man.
Let's mute ourselves, everyone.
Yep.
On the good days, my anger finds a clean page and wages war. Armed like military with simile or metaphor. I march to the rhythm of imaginary meter, you can't stop my ink shed. And only my pen knows that my flow's never been dead. It's been organising, Analyzing, disguising the timing of my rhyme and my reason, commits high treason, blows colder than roll despite the climate and the season. See my agony, the antecedent. All that went before left my writing raw. All the shite I saw. My childhood in a vile hood where hoodies hadn't yet happened. But an unguarded comment would still get you flattened. These facts impact on my rapping. So my style's free of all the yapping and gassing. I'm attacking any track with a passion without ration. Dedicate my prose to those without cashing. I pen to prevent my lonely soul crashing. I've been told my flow's smashing. My content, grabbing. But as long as the gats keep clapping and the shanks keep stabbing and the MCs keep bragging about who'll be the dopest, I'ma let them all lay claim and maintain my focus. See, I'm just trying to grow like crocus in springtime. And no matter how hopeless it feels out on road, I'ma bring rhyme to sing in the sunshine. Show the screw face youths with the hats and the hoods and the night suits how to have a good time. Come let we skank down, get your rum drank down. Tonight I don't give a fuck about this skank town. Loud them the crack rocks, loud them the postcodes, loud them the closed up mind if their soul's cold. Cause I can't help anyone, I can just warn them. Cause it ain't like I'm the mother that did born them. Sorry, let me calm down. I get on this hype thing. I'm a shark on the bars, but tonight I'm not biting. I'm just inviting you to a party. RSVP if you want to see me out in the street when my beats keep bumping like a police truncheon. Make you feel something like a vibration. Get on my wavelength. See my raps put a crack up in the pavement. This is for the brave men and the strong ladies. This is for the old, for the dead, for the babies. Just the vibe. Not all of that content. I understand I require parental consent, and so I swear down. I do this for the grown folks, and I'm serious. I ain't making no jokes. I'm making neck jerk. I am an expert, and this ain't the whole poem, just an excerpt. See the full length? That ain't even written yet. It's unreleased from my lips, I haven't spit it yet. I haven't thought it, let alone taught it. To a drunk crowd already to ball it. I don't want to spoil it. I hope you like surprises. It will be surreal like clouds instead of eyelids. I'm a Cyrus shining in the eyes of ISIS. For guessing the nicest, you get no prizes. The evidence is here if you care to rewind this. My image so vivid it will cure your blindness. What? Nah. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I can't refine this. In the dark and the grubs where you'll always find us. Sorry. Look, I'm just defining the world as I see it. I'm curious, the thin king. I'll be it. Peace. What's that?
Woo. Oh, on my own.
I appreciate any.
Yay!
That's good.
That's mad weird, like watching yourself in the same room as you're sitting, like performing to yourself. And that's the view I've got from where I'm sitting.
You want to make it a little bit weirder? You want to, hold on, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
If you want to make it a bit weirder,
Yeah,
go on to
can hear
YouTube
you.
and Facebook and go on to Twitch at the same time. You see yourself 3 more times as well.
Much, with all the delays. It's multiverse shit.
Akor, should we play another one? Okay, I'm going to play a second one now as well.
This ain't a poem nor a eulogy. No half-hearted spit on how bad things can get while forgetting how they used to be. Truly, this world confuses me. Like it probably does everybody. So I'm not gonna stand here and name check everybody. My poems are not gravestones. I know I rock them in brave tones. I feel like I'm rattling slave bones on nobody say so. Trying to carve myself a halo. Well, I stroke my beard of fear and steer my career towards a payload. I'm sick at spitting on worthy causes. But I'm sick of turning these causes into clauses, divorced from their causes. I'm feeling nauseous. In front of the same caucus, who clap when I'm raucous and snap like reporters, but all this is nonsense. Because if it really caused a fuss, they'd point guns at us and follow orders to maintain order. So I'm all for the war and the want if we want it. But I'm more for the walks and the hugs and the sonnets. I'm not for the fame or the shame of this game. I respect those they've slain, so I won't say their names. Do pasty pink pencil lips puckered with white privilege. And why would you give a shit to listen it if I ain't living it? Acting like my lines are legitimate. To talk on this ignorant system is frivolous. It's the pissing winds insidious and spitting seas of syphilis. To rhyme a trail of Daily Mail hedged demonic hissy fits, we're a bunch of fucking idiots. To think they're gonna listen, cuz, and change the game of killing us. I'm sick to my pit of the thrill and the buzz, of raising fists on stages, acting like I give a fuck when nothing that I actually do can stop the bodies ticking up. So I'm filling up on love. I throw my poems in a pit of flames. I hope the smoke keeps rising up to signal we need bigger change, and this ain't about a gig. Cause trust, I'd love to strut my shit again, but every clap sounds like a slap that twists me into bitter pain. I can't maintain the crude illusion, play the game and win again. I can't pretend my lonely pen could twitch and end this bitter rain. I can't foresee a future that is brighter, so I sit again and try to find the point of writing fire with my stick again.
Yes.
Yes, my man.
Fire. Blood
I
fire.
love that. That was good.
Fire,
Lovely.
fire.
Fire, fire, fire. I listen. You don't have to brag, but you've got 3 different backdrops for these poems, yeah? There was no like it was like a mini poem.
Better teleporting.
Man, thanks for that. Wait, this drum you have beside you, what's the deal? Are you, are we about to get down on it?
Me and you, bro, you know the mics are all that.
Oh, you haven't drum.
We're trying to get into the after party. We're not even done with the show.
No. You have the drum beside you, and I was just wondering, do you?
I mean, we can. I've got the DJ set up next to me here. Like, we can do the after party.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. We'll take a short break now. It's mandatory for you to get your tea topped up. You can't run for 1 hour without tea. It's illegal. You can get arrested in this government for not having enough tea in your system at any particular point in time. So we're taking a tea break. And yeah, so just 10 minutes and we'll be back.
I'm going to play some music in the background.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Well done, everyone.
Well done, everyone. Thank you.
Bexy, you're on next, and then we have, actually, I can't remember. I'll see you in a second.
Should beatbox before you get the beat.
No.
All right, let me go get tea.
Aced it, chose to escape it in many different ways. I broke bread once more, now I'm pacing, impatiently waiting, slowly tasting blood. Caught up, wait, hands up, like guns are blazing. We're still fighting for changes when it's black, going to be a synonym for amazing as opposed to everything that represents Satan. This is all driving me insane. What an incarnation. But I'm a cyclist though. The labels I'm erasing, self-defining while pitiful judgment is blatant. So I keep telling myself, hold on, don't waste it. Let go of all the hatred, face it, they won't smile at you forever. Soon comes more disappointment, so I'm learning, I'm rising, and I'm taking flight once again. I am thanking God for life, yes, amen. that eye that you see when you look at me speak, it is the Creator. Intuitively gazing into your hearts through me, creatively. You see, one of God's gifts to me is impulsive poetical delivery through speech. What are your gifts? Aimless direction, tear young bucks up and make them into the youth that we see. They are roaming our streets. It is not as plain as it seems to write these rhymes. I had to experience pain, man, it's deep, but without the sour you will never truly experience the sweet. Indeed, it is your life, so you have to keep on pressing please, so our next generation can provide our next generation with a continued sense of liberty. Let heaviness die and joy arise gracefully. Let us bring forth hope, patience and faith. Let us lose courage, obedience, happiness and peace. Our youth must know that they are of lineage of kings and queens. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, no. It is that we are full of power to shake up anything that troubles us. Let us fear not the power that dwells within, because it was given from above. And yes, my family, we can change things, but first read Hebrews 4, verses 1. Because you see, they will try to tell you who you are now. Darkness will imitate light, and light will imitate dark now. If you respect the streets, then they will tear you apart now. The sun will shine even when it gets rainy. I know it's no walk in the park, and at times you may wonder why. Question mark. Regardless, find your voice and delve into your heart. Harness your instrument and use it because it is your craft. Do not worry about those who try to attain everything fast, because living a fast life will bring an end to your life fast. Know your past, your history, your ancestors, the ones who paved the way before. Harriet Tubman, Mary Seacole, Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X. I will not stop till this youth values the hard work which leads to success. So I will not digress, nor neglect the fact at hand, for there is a burning necessity to feed the society from a microwave mentality. So we bind ignorance, pushing forth innovation in education, the tool to set our children free. Use your time effectively, dream, and through determination, dedication and discipline comes the also steady knock of opportunity. Peace.
My grandfather always used to say, "Can I get an amen?" And as I reluctantly responded with that battled cry, while sat amongst the other broken soldiers, desperately searching the plains of their souls to re-establish these shattered pieces of armor, I would think, a great man. But hey man, I'm just a man, still trying to figure out what it truly even means to be a man. You tell me that the ball is in my court, yet I am still to strategize an effective game plan. I turn to these words to alleviate these nerves and study the intricate patterns woven within each creation created by the almighty creator of this entire universe, and completely marvel at the magnitude of my absolute insignificance. We are all one people, one family, separated by such trivial differences, saved by the blood of a lamb who was slain in front of a host of witnesses. And even if you insist this is not what you believe, I shall believe it on your behalf, for word tells me that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And oh, how there have been times when I have failed to see the value within myself and struggled to uncover this hidden wealth that is so readily available for each and every precious soul according to the richness that can be found even within the scarcity of life. With every mouthful of oxygen I feast upon this undeserved abundance of grace. And as the essence of divinity digests into my spirit, I cannot help but also recognize the divinity that dwells deep within inside of you, my brother, my sister. Your experience has taught you many things of good and of evil, and you now know so much. But with respect, I implore you not to allow your intellect to completely cause you to neglect the beauty and truth that binds us all together. For knowledge is power, they say. But if that is so, then how is it possible that the most intelligent being to walk the face of this earth can so often be rendered so powerless? For knowledge without understanding is pointless. And then with understanding should come wisdom, yet still many choose to avoid this very liberating formula for living life according to joy's bliss. It's so very simple. Though it's not always easy, I know this. But even in those moments, when everything feels so hopeless, sisters, if you ever desire to find peace, you have to keep on trying and keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Sisters, you better keep on fighting. And brothers, lean not on your own understanding, but lean on God. And as you tirelessly toil tenaciously to ascend to reach the tip of your mountain top, brothers, you better keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Brothers, you better keep on climbing. Brothers, keep on climbing. Yeah.
My grandfather once told me, he said, son, you see you are becoming better and sweeter. Whatever that means, you see I am feeling obese from yesterday. Dietetically awaiting and praying on my spirit to reveal divinity's cure to greed and gluttony in 6 million ways. Choose one. And see that there is more to my madness. There is fulfillment, there is joy, there is gladness. There is method in releasing, so I know that we can push through this so-called sadness. In due time, true is this. The wise man rose up wiser boys who left their habitat to grow into young men. However, in today's society, these boys are still teething. They are still pleasing their inner demons now. If we just hold on and remain strong to the wind's passing breeze, we can make it through without choking. We've just got to breathe easy, so we breathe. Inhale slower. Days keep on drifting on by. Yes, the struggle is real because hard-body soldiers do not know how to fight because they are too busy fighting themselves. You see, all Solomon ever wanted was the fame, popularity, the girls, and the wealth. But how will he supply that wealth when he does not know that it is within inside himself? How will he when refusal is even more confusing than it may seem, because he has no, you have no, we have been sold happiness as this once upon a time fairy tale dream. Forget I said that though, and yes, just remember how it made you feel. Brought on by whatever brings that out in you, it is nothing new, it's buried down in the sediment of your soul. Come on family, we've got work to do. Forget I said that though, and yes, just remember how it made you feel. As long as you keep on on, smiling whilst this government keeps on whiling. Souls are steady dying, brothers who've been beat down, keep on rising. My sisters, you better keep on, keep on, keep on. Sisters, keep on. Sisters, keep on shining, keep on shining, keep on shining. So keep on shining. Oh, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Sisters, keep on shining. Keep on shining. Sisters, keep on shining. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on shining. Waiting for a ride out of ends on a cold spring afternoon, I sighted a young queen making me think about new beginnings. A mellow tune came to mind.
What happened?
Poetcurious, I'm not too sure who's on the sax actually for that one, sorry.
Ooh, sorry. I got Anna.
Cool, man.
And Fiona.
I'm loving Solomon and Tish's stuff though. That's dope.
Oh, they're amazing, and that's 2 years old as well. Like that's really flown over our heads, hasn't it?
Good-ish.
Hey.
Hey.
Akor, we ready?
Hey, am I ready now?
I got my hat on.
Here we go. Anna, you're going to be. Yes, I'm going to add you onto the list, Anna.
Okay.
And Fee, if you're still on, I can't see Fee.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hiya, I'm going to add you on after Anna, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, someone's on YouTube, I can tell because there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Could you just put it on mute there, please?
That was me.
Fair enough. The host, yeah? Fair enough.
Okay. Just give me a second.
All right, sorry. Just for the next couple of minutes, Akor, I'm going to be breaking my fast. So I'm going to put everything on mute. You're okay?
Wait, what?
Enjoy. Enjoy.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, so welcome back. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. Woo!
It's so awkward.
Yep. Got my tea. Okay, so welcome back to the second half, and it was amazing. The first half was really cool. Had so many lovely poems, and I can see some familiar faces here again. Bexy Bex is next. Yeah, an avenue, a hat on, keeping it real. Thank you. So it's the thing about poetry for me. One thing I really like is whenever I experience this thing where you write a poem and then you just finish and you dump it and then come back to it a couple of days or another time, and you now realize like, what was I writing here, or who wrote this? And you start finding new things in your work. That is one thing I really find fascinating, how you can be true to yourself without you really knowing how you did that. And some truth just tends to seep out of you regularly. I enjoy hearing that when I listen to other people's poems and you have a conversation with them and they tell you they don't even, like, they wrote that in a certain situation, but it came out of them without their own permission, in quote. So yeah, I just thought to share that. The next is Bexy Bex. The first time I heard her was, I went to one of those flow vortex, which is on the other side of Earth. Like, to get there, you take a train, a boat, you fly out of some, it's ridiculously far from everywhere. How would an organization decide to put their show somewhere where no one ever reaches? How, you know what, I'll save my rant for later. But she was there and I heard her piece, and then we're doing the first BYOB. And Abdullah was like, we should get a headliner. And I was like, Bexy Bex, come on, man, come on, yo. And it's always been a pleasure to listen to her and to chat with her and to see her host Mind Over Matter. And so, yeah, take it away, Bexy Bex.
Woo, woo, woo.
You, sir, you're too kind. You're too kind. So yeah, I'm just going to jump straight into this piece. It is called Tribute. Like, as a kid, whenever I got angry, my father, he always taught me to take a deep breath and count backwards from 10, 9. So it's no surprise that I always seem to be one step behind, like I 8, 7. If it really is on earth as it is in heaven, I wonder if the heavens spin anti-clockwise around hell, like 6, 6. Shit. How the fuck do I turn this wine back into water? How do I breathe your laughter and make smiles from your footsteps? Have you ever seen a rose bleed to death with its own thorns? How do I connect these third dimensions made of broken liquids? How do I make arms long enough to hug all 4 corners of your commitments? Like, because when it comes to the anniversary of your death, I don't really like to talk about it much, let alone write a poem every single year. But it would appear that today it lands on Easter Good Friday, so I figured, what's better time to resurrect you? I will have to admit, in the past, there have been times where I've actually forgotten the date, which really sounds quite rotten, but considering the state that I was in when they first told me you passed away, I mean, like, guys, it was mid-morning on a Sunday and there were just so many people packed into our tiny 4-bedroom house that by the time I had sifted through all of the crying and the confusion, lifted masks off the ones that were lying and using this news to feign their affection for us, I don't know whether it had been 12 hours or 11. It really took that second for everything to come to a complete standstill and for the news to actually sink in. Now I often make a goldfish of your memory, and I cherish the 5 seconds where for a moment I forget and I think you're alive and sitting with me. I feel like he can see me, but I'm still scared to speak to him. So easily my voice is lost between his frequencies. I'm not the person to ask for people's opinions, for fear of replacing mine with theirs, for fear of having their stares pour into me and my independence forced out of me as if it were water in glass jars being held under open taps. It feels like I'm wrapped in this backward tide. Have you ever known the tide to take its instructions from the sun? And have you ever sung with your neighbor's tongue and felt their sound waves on your fingertips, felt their pain in your wrists? These wrists are so limp that I don't make it all the way through your Instagram stories sometimes. These arms, they barely make it halfway out of the duvet at times. I feel like my mind rests in these bed sheets made of metal cotton, and I'm continuously dreaming of falling. At night, I fall into you. Falling into you feels like leaning on marshmallow walls, relying on elbows that know nothing of funny bones, which is really quite frustrating because I'm pretty much the most optimistic person that I know. Like, I swear, on my good days, I feel I can exist on 2 planes. In that matrix, I am both Morpheus and Agent Smith. I am that blue pill that you read about. On my good days, my thoughts are very tactical. There's this magical geometry in the way my brain lays it out and maps it all into this picture perfect kind of beautiful. But a picture can tell 1,000 words, and some of these words, they shape my bad days. These words, they cast shadows that I dance with behind bars like contraband. My hand is too small to fit the size of my palm and the destinies with which it holds, cradling these bad days. On my bad days, my thoughts are quite theatrical. A heavy pain gets buried deep inside my clavicle, making hunchbacks of this dame, so it's easier to shield my shame and hug my ugly a little bit tighter. On my bad days, I feel empty. And in 2020, these bad days, they come so often that I don't even have them anymore. I just have good days and normal ones, and on my normal ones, I tend to question everything that's good. Like, for example, my ex, he used to give me butterflies every time he would sing me our song, but I couldn't help but question, maybe these butterflies were never yours to give. Where did you steal them from? These bad days, they come so often that I don't even have them anymore. I just have good days and normal ones, and on my normal ones, I tend to question everything that's good. I mean, they say happiness is a choice, but if happiness is a choice, then when did I choose to be sad? If happiness is a choice, then when did mine become a lost voice on a ballot that I did not vote for, or programmed into a device that I do not have the remote for? If the happiness in a user can be created or configured, then when did depression become my default setting? That's it, Bexy Bex, thank you very much.
What?
Unreal.
What?
Unreal.
Love this poem every
Wicked.
time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Like, if we start dissecting that poem now, we'll have a thesis out of it. Like, legit. Oh man, that was like, again, it had that element of trying to figure out something in you through a poem, and you were just going through and it's that thing where, even though the experience is different for everybody, when you find someone who is trying to figure out something through a poem, you would know how it flows. You don't know where it's going to bump and where it's going to, float and all, but how it flows is just the thing, and you captured it very well. Thanks for sharing that, because it seemed very personal, and yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And I love that jumper that's hanging there. Like, that jumper behind you.
This one.
Love it. Yep.
Me too. I've been remembering.
What? Let me just break it down to you. If I ever come to your house, right? Search me quietly.
Don't lend it to him.
Search me.
I'm locking the door. I'll be like, the number you have dialed is not recognized. Please try again.
All right. So the next poet we have is someone who I've seen at so many poetry nights, and every time he comes, he has this poise and this aura he brings with him, and it kind of fits the name, his name, because he sometimes you read a poem, or you hear someone do a poem, and there's a certain sense of speed and aggression within that poem. But when someone can take that level of aggression and polish it or make it smooth and just, it's like calmly set something on fire. That's how I put it, right? That's just what the Lantern Carrier does. So I would just, we take it from here. Lantern Carrier, it's your.
Thank you.
And let's all mute ourselves, everyone else, because there's some bad shit going on in the background.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. They speak of mental health, of the need for peace and happiness. Do they know that distress awakes on the left side of the pendulum while love swings on the other? My sweet Shyama, who comprehends your play in this transitory world of struggle? Bit by bit, I wean myself like a child from the milk of thy sweet bosom. Letting go is so necessary for my awakening. The moon is my solace, as fire is my light. Who can quench the burning flames that drive these tears? When I stumble in the dark night of afflictions, you come with the concern of a lover, your radiant beams descending from the temple of the sun. When it is cold and raining, when in this dark tunnel of despair, my inner candle goes dim, you emanate like a firefly, transforming my boisterous waves into an oasis of beautiful flowers. Come, sweet melody, I am your blind lover, you are my cane. How can I see without your silent guidance? This dense shadow troubling my spirit is wrapped in the robes of beauty's sky. It will only be vanquished when it finds what it is longing for, that tender stab of the unknown from which everything else is knowable. Today you sit beside me, transforming my nappy of discomfort, filling me with a mother's concern of sweet sacrifice. Help me to rise once more, drunk with fine wine, taken from the meadow of thy sweetness. Lantern Carrier. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Woo-hoo.
Wow.
Always read. Thank you. Oh, Flip. Like, if I was supposed to describe your poetry in another way, apart from the way I described it a moment ago, I'll call it a garden because you paint, you use so many colors and it's very vivid. Yeah, it's relaxing. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
So, okay, yeah, Scoop, what's happening? All right, so next we have Maggie. She's a dear friend of mine. I love hearing her poetry, and her words are beautiful. So let's give it to her.
Thank you. Hello.
Uh-oh. Okay, just give me a second. I gotta mute all.
Okay.
And then unmute you. Yep, you got it.
Okay. Okay.
C'est bon.
Okay. Merci beaucoup. Okay. Yes. This is called Between an Ocean and the Sea. So you shine like pebbles under the sun on a sunny morning, but once the tide leaves the shore, you become just one more pebble. The waves caress the shore and tickle your laughter, but soon we withdraw in the deeper waters once the tide comes again. I felt you like sunshine in my heart, warming the eyes and melting the barriers of our lips that were deemed to stay forever dry of love. I started counting the pebbles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 it was indeed. Was my clock going to check in at the time there was a tide coming in again? Nobody was sure. I looked at you. First glimpse, you seemed familiar. Second glimpse, I became accustomed to you. Third look, and I was convinced that it was you. You led with my sails, my hopes, to sail on calm waters. You showered them with sunny waters and sweet caress under the Godspells. You'd met me by the end of the cliff, facing the river that is keeping us apart. I thought it was the ocean, but you whispered in my ear, "Wake up, you're dreaming again. I was never yours." I kept checking my phone till 2 p.m. The notifications are full of names, but there's not a sound. You are silent, and the only noise is the echoing sound of your empty heart. I've left the windows open, hoping that the summer will come along. But only thing that came in was disappointment in place of summer. Only if you knew, you would be more real to me as I was real to you. But who said life needs to be real? It only needs to be hard and unpredictable. Once one man told me, "You're lucky if you ever leave the maze." But there was something inside me calling me to stay and taste it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like how it flows. It's like you just take the entire poem and it just goes through different phases and different. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right, so the next poet we have, since it's the Metaphorist.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Cool. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Just wanted to make sure. Have a watching.
Second.
Cool. So I'm kind of new to the scene, and wait, hold on. I got this ready. You can follow me here. Don't know if that's backwards. So with my followers, like I usually ask them to give me words, and then I make a poem from it. So this is from last year's one. So this is 2019's word poem, and I got given 4 words to use. Do you guys want to know the words, or shall I just say the poem? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tell us the words. Tell us the words.
Okay. So the one word was love, original, fragments, metamorphosis, and sentimental.
Cool.
So here's the 2019 poem, a word poem. What happened? It was random. We didn't plan it. On our own planet, somewhere in the middle of Camden. On camera, it was savage. Couple drinks, a couple magnums. Broke you off into fragments and let the emotions lament. Leaving roses and cement. Came together like a tandem. With no bikes, it was me you was riding. Arms and legs clenched, grabbing things from thin air. Our body language was candid. Presented transcripts of our hands writ in Sanskrit. Exchanged sonnets with our breath. Our breath was packed with onomatopoeia. On the mat, we're here, whining and winding like a caterpillar. While wondering what we are to each other, more than a brother and closer to a lover. We can't stand each other. So that's why we fall for one another. Mind if I call you love? Because in my mind, I call you love. And when you come to mind, I call you love. Love claimed none of us. We summoned us. We are our own orphanage. There's not a ton of us. Love is deceiving, but nor is it a trick. I read you, Ma. I see what your aura is. Got love for you and it comes out of every orifice. And with you, it could result in a marriage or a kid. Love transforms and changes shape. That's a metamorphosis. It changes us. And that's what a metamorph is. And we're better for it. With my experience and your knowledge, we'll plant seeds in this forest. Mine leaves when we forage and see what a metaphor is. Get it? Give it time to develop like Jessop's. Mine leaves. Mind leaves, leaves grow on trees and leaves are in books. I said mine leaves and your mind took. Picture that like a bud to a petal. My words sentimental. My words are sentimental. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I like that.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you say my words are sentimental? My words sent her mental.
It was my words sent a mental, like a mental picture, and then my words are sentimental was the last line.
Ah, I like that. That was nice.
So you just had a third one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. It's amazing to have you. Who that? Boy, if you don't mind. All right, cool. And please put your handle down there.
Oh yeah, cool.
You can find everybody here.
I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah. And when you're taking the next word for this year, 22, oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'll add everyone in the poetry community on Instagram for sure.
Okay. All right.
Cool, wicked. Thank you guys for listening.
It's all good. All right, so next is Jamie Crawford. So can you hello Jamie. Yeah, Jamie. Hey, Jamie. Come in here. Move. And we're moving. Okay. Okay. All right, let me just mute everyone. Give me a second and then get Jamie back on. Thank you. You got to flow.
Cool. Sorry about that. I was, yeah.
Oh wait. First off, sorry.
Oh,
Right.
No, I was always ready. Always ready.
Nah, well, you just took the shelf game to another level right now. Like,
gotta have that.
Like, I mean, all right. Wait. After your poem, we'll talk about this. Just do your thing.
Sure. Yeah, to be honest, I kind of just thought I was just gonna enjoy it and just watch and listen to everyone else. So I don't know particularly what to do. However, sorry, this is probably really boring for you guys now. Suddenly, it's been a brilliant night probably so far, and then
But you've got lovely fairy lights.
Like, I mean,
yeah, no, this is true. It's true. Do you want happy? Do you want happy?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Happy. Okay. Cool. Right. Shit. It's only short. It's called Blue Light Blues. I wrote it a little while ago. And it's about like your best friend, or in this case, girlfriend, having a bit too much to drink and getting carried away. So Jimbo was up on the ones and twos when Gary gave him the breaking news that Crazy Daisy and her favourite shoes had been taken in by the Blue Light Blues. Her friends told her she'd had enough, but Crazy Daisy is pretty tough. Tough as anything I've seen, like Vinnie Jones in Mean Machine. Jimbo went to check it out, and when he saw, he had to shout. Crazy Daisy in her favourite shoes was in the arms of the Blue Light Blues. The lights crashed across her face, the colours drained without a trace. She looked like a creature from outer space, supine, wrapped in that silver embrace. Jimbo picked up her favourite shoes. This wouldn't make the evening news. Daisy taken in by the Blue Light Blues.
Oh my god. That was cool. I like it. I think, yeah. Oh man, that's cool. Thanks. Oh yeah, back to your lights. All right, we need to talk about this thing. Like
I've had them for a while. They kind of just, I think they've just always been in the flat. When I moved in, they were here, and I'm very lucky in that my two flatmates have, one's gone to live with her boyfriend in Chiswick for the time being, and the other's gone to live with her boyfriend in Camden. So,
man, I love this. I am definitely getting fairy lights. Like I'm not even. This is happening. It's like next week we got lights here. But thanks for your poem. I like when people write happy poems. It's a very, it almost feels like it's harder because poetry is almost, it's usually from a sad place, right? So a lot of people write sad poems and it's easier to write when you're sad. But when you're happy, you just want the lottery. The first thing you're thinking of is not to write a poem. Like, hey, I got a new job poem. No, never happens like that, right? So when you can write a cheerful poem like that, it's a very peculiar skill, and thanks for sharing that. And I would love to hear you a lot more. And yeah, so can you put your deeds down? And yeah, cool. So next person on the list is the last in this section before we go back to our headliner who was killing it before and has a drum beside him and is going to pick another book from his shelf. I'm just telling you right now. We have Big Scoop next. All right, so you two.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm coming. Just give me a second and unmute Monsieur Scoop, and thank you. All right, take it away.
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. What's happening?
Not bad, man. This poem is something I wrote about a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna talk too much. I'm just getting into it. You see, as black men, a lot of the press that we get is just negative. You see, a lot of us get labeled as bad boys, a lot of us get labeled as thugs or bad boys lacking intelligence. You see, every day they're promoting knife crime and they try to use it as evidence. But if you're judging millions of people, those statistics bear no relevance. You see, that's why knowledge itself is imperative, because it's true that brothers kill brothers. The problem is we don't see this as relative. I just find it mad how everyone's living this wildlife, but no one's addressing the elephant. That's because we live in an age where everything currents a wave. We don't get tied to the truth and as a result get carried away. That's because most of us are out here chasing the same dream. But it's mad when you got to do that and then figure out how to stay clean. I know guys that hustle all night. Sometimes I wonder if they dream. I mean, what do you know about whipping to make cream? Because I'm from a place where everyone sees you flowing, but just like building a dam, they want to stop you from hitting that mainstream. See, I got a few friends who are dead and some who are stuck in a can like baked beans. Plus, when you come from the block, the only thing you want to do is make great cheese. I said block, great cheese, but that's the mistake we're making. Young boys want to fight over postcodes that they see no hope in escaping, which means you're literally beefing over something you don't have stake in, which means you can end up taking shots without getting drunk and still get wasted. Plus, most of these young boys have got things really mistaken because getting dropped home by the pigs is no way that you bring home the bacon. But these are the things that I've witnessed. I've literally watched man get out of jail and now they're back locked up like a slipped disc. And all because you want to be the big fish and then end up a victim of karma. Realize there's strength in numbers because even the biggest of fish can get ate by school of piranha. Be wary of those who throw shade and those who change theirs like an iguana. I've witnessed guys beef over cheese. And that usually ends with a trade like cooking lasagna. So don't try claim to be clueless. You see, this right here is the naked truth, but most will act like they never knew this. And that's what's making me feel sick. Because there's too many guys who want to be bad boys like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. But if we talk violations, I mean, I come from a place where I can't say that man never had man. I mean, it's too easy to get tied up here. I've seen so many man run. Man, I grew up on fist fights, and I've had so many mad ones. And I've grew up on fist fights, and I've had so many mad ones. And it's sad how times have changed. Because these days, owning a handgun gives you the edge like a Samsung, and it's not right. In a year like 2020, everyone seems to have lost sight, and it's crazy. Because just like an OXO cube, they think that the block's all gravy. Now, I've had guys try to murder me. And that shows our mind state is in a state of emergency. Because every time that you see an op, you want to put them in surgery. With a gun, you know how to open up, but don't know how to do that verbally. And these are the things that we can't sense. Because in the hood, 1 minute it's sunny, the next you're getting rained on like a park bench. So tell me, how do you look to the future in a place where things get past tense and it's that deep? I mean, these young boys be lacking in wisdom, so there's no hesitation to back teeth. But just know when you make your bed, you got to lie in it. And most of these guys are covered in rap sheets. And to tell you the truth, I've never been a talker. I've had people push my patience more than a hospital porter. If you want my advice, don't be reckless, because your past will follow you around like a stalker. I just find it mad how most don't see levels until they end up in deep water. But trust me, I know the game. I can tell you that it's been sussed. And when it comes to the haters, realize there's always an influx. I don't believe in the system. It's the process I'm giving big trust. Because even my great-granddad will tell you, there's no such thing as a win rush. So for that reason, I stay sharp. Plus, I'm far from white or Scottish, but still operate with a brave heart. Because I know that in order to get my results, I've got to grind like kids in a skate park. So I'm not waiting to get discovered. Just know that I'm taking my shot. And just due to the fact that I got this covered, whether they find me or not. And it shows. Because a lot of the guys doing long-term stretches never had any long-term goals. Never had any long-term goals. And we just end it there, man. So I can remember so far. We just end it there, man.
Oh, man.
Making my patients like hospital porters.
Like, dude, there's so many bars
So
in
under
there.
Marco, DeMarco.
Wordplay king.
Like, just bar after bar, man. Thanks for sharing that. That was
Thank
good.
you very much, guys, man. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for coming out.
Still does this.
So next is, I've seen her perform twice now. So this thing that is interesting me about going online is that most of the people in London here that I haven't seen, because I couldn't go to one show or the other, I am just, catching them online now, and it is amazing. So next we have Anna.
Oh.
Yes.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm coming to mute everybody and then put you on. Continue, then unmute. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yep.
hi everyone.
Hola.
I have just a short little poem. It's called Unfinished, and this is, a very, very personal poem to me.
Is it finished?
It is finished. The
Brilliant.
poem is finished. It's
Finished.
called Unfinished. Yeah. Sometimes these hospital rooms haunt me, just like that train to Berlin I always used to take. A 6-hour train ride to see you somewhere in your chemotherapy break. Would go for walks near your hospital in Potsdam and visit Christmas markets on the main square, I guess still so blissfully unaware just how unfinished this story would be. Weak and fragile, you still stayed up writing poetry you'd always share with me. And when your lungs gave out, these verses were there to let you breathe, but you left. You left me with things I wish I would have said when you could still hear. Things I wish I would have shown when you could still see. And things I wish I would have done when you would still be. You left me with feelings that I never thought existed, feelings that no one wants to believe or feel. You left me with pain that sometimes feels like a chain of steel locked in my throat. Locked somewhere where all these words live, so painfully unfinished. Sometimes I catch myself dreaming, wishing like a painful fantasy of all the things I can never have. And I stay up writing the way I always have, and it feels so close but distant, surreal. Too many questions on what you would have said or the way you would have been. Too many questions on what you would have done or the way you would have seen my life. That month, that March, will always feel unfinished. A week at its peak, a day, an hour, a minute you'll never get back. Unfinished. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Well done.
I'm loving hearing poems about with traveling involved during this podcast. People just talking about going to other places.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here to go to Berlin though, but soon. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So our next poet is Fiona. What's happening? Hola.
Oh, hola, hola.
Okay, but let me mute everybody else and then bring it back in the range. There we go.
All right. I don't know. I might do what I did, something new today, and I did it at Soft Spoken's pre-run. Can Soft Spoken unmute? Shall I do that one? Is he there?
He should be there. Mr. Soft Spoken.
He's not listening. How dare he? Going off making
It's fast. You might be doing that.
Ow, my ear.
Oh,
Soft Spoken, you're back. Shall I do the one I did on your thing, on your pre-run, the new one?
Okay, hi. I'm with you now. Sorry.
Shall I do that?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I loved it.
Okay, it's new. It's literally new. I did it today. I'm proud of myself. The awful thing about doing something new and wanting to perform it is you don't have that height, like that space between it. So it might be complete rubbish, which is why I just had to ask Soft Spoken.
You got this.
So I'm bringing Kit out. Sorry for the disturbance. I've got my own little PA system now. You want to try your... You have to be really quiet. So these are your marshmallows, okay? Right. Bringing it up. So this is called... Oh, goodness. Sorry, mate. Sorry about this. Let me just find this thing. Okay. It's called shutter release. Shutter release means it's like the button you press on a camera.
Yep.
And I haven't learned my backing, so I've literally recorded it today and I haven't deleted it. So I am just going to press play now. Oh, don't do this. Hang on. I'm also really tired. Oh God, sorry about this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired. All right. Shutter release. Shutter release. Shutter release. Shutter release. I write my pain away. I write to let go. I write to release repression. I write to tune into myself. I write along a continuum of regret and hope, and my tears ink out self-compassionate rainbows that chart the start of new chapters in my self-growth. And as my word form forms around my words, I stand still in silence. I invite letters and sounds to channel through my sound, hands and mouth without capturing their semantics at source. Words, phrases, meaning develop in the dark, framing still silhouettes against light from my past, and the shutter release of my mind and heart creates everlasting contrast. But before I can let go, I have to hold these transparent positives and negatives, measure the weight of their memories, all worth their weight in gold. Hold, scrutinize and absorb every ounce, every gram, lost lives, lost loves, layers of pain upon pain, interspersed with scenes of bliss, laughter, connection. All these make up who I am and what I have to gain. The chronological chronicle of my life. And as time passes, perspectives change, but as there was truth at that time before turning the page and letting go, I have to validate and re-experience every picture's pixel once again with overexposure, so I can receive what I need to see, then let go with absolute closure. My mind is my camera. My eyes are my lens. My pen helps me develop. My words are my friend. And as I let go, I will gain a never-ending accumulation of unravelings. Life's documentary projecting extremes on a showreel and change. Shutter, release, release, shutter, shutter, release, release, shutter, release, 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 shutter, release, shutter, release, 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 release.
Smash it, Fee.
Nice.
B50 fan. B50 fan.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's a camera, by the way.
Oh,
Wow.
I love it. I love the instrumental as well.
camera, that's so cool.
Like, first off, you gotta record that. That's just, I mean,
Yeah, defo.
that needs to be recorded.
Hey, everyone, I have to go and get on my bike to the room I'm sleeping at.
Yeah.
But I love you all. Thank you so much for sharing.
All right,
And
thank you,
thanks
babe.
for organizing.
See ya.
And thanks, Brent, for being awesome and supporting artists if you're watching. All right. Bye, everyone. Sorry to go.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Amy. Bye.
Fiona, thanks for that. It was such a lovely piece.
Fresh. Fresh off the press.
Like fresh. Man, that's so cool. Thanks a million for that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I
Yeah.
did it. Like, sometimes you just sit on things, but anyway, I've just gone with it. Gone with it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for listening. I
Yep.
have gone with it.
Thank you very much. And yeah, Latouche, what's happening?
What's up, bro?
What's up?
Everyone's done so well.
Yeah.
What are you saying, that, bro? What are you saying, boy? All right, I'll get started now.
You said, what's up, bro?
Yeah,
What's up,
bro?
Bro.
All right, cool. So we're all right, thanks. We're almost out of time now. So we're going to the last person. I think I said that before, but there's a real last person. So we'll call on Carla.
Come on, Carla. Prestige, Carla. You forgot the prestige part. She's prestige, Carla.
Sorry,
Prestige.
I have to say it with my fake French accent. Thank you very much. Prestige, Carla.
I was like the last person. I didn't get on. That's all right. And I'm supporting anyway. Bye.
That's all good, man. We got you.
Okay, so I'm Prestige Carla. For those who don't know, I am mainly here supporting the main man, Poetcurious, my guy. We run Rise Up together. But just a quick poem then called 6 Degrees of Sensuality. I write, 1 second. Hello, I'm performing. Thank you very much. I'm a mum,
Snap, go for it.
No, I don't have anything for you. Go on, off you go. No, there's nothing there. Sorry. 6 Degrees of Sensuality. Some Sundays she slices small cucumbers to place upon her eyes, she would walk to her place of slumber and rest her curls upon her cushion, time to envision. Through self-isolation, she can be as free as she pleases. She deepens. Thoughts of her last experience jolts through her marrow as she eases into her placement. The wisps of hair on her neck arises, as does his. She remembers embers. He who she can no longer name lit flames into her thoughts pattern. Flickering candle wax steaming down its frame, she's all in. She takes us to the place where the race to succession begins. The mood darkens, desperately reaching for the souls to connect. They do not disappoint. Limbs pant, arms sway, eyes flutter, senses heighten, pores open, noses flare, muscles contract, forces release, mouths open, both gasp. They finish at a draw, simply indescribable. She remains lifeless, with her head tilted upon her cushion, recalibrating her reality. She exhales. Her eyelids depart. Her lashes flutter in relation to a tone. The phone's ringing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
man.
poet mum.
I'm gonna rise up, family. Poetry wife in the building.
Jeez,
All right,
flames.
so, Akor, just so you know as well, so Chris is poet dad and Carla's poet mum.
Yeah, I think the day they came to Carla came to BYOB, I think yeah. I yeah. Thanks, man. That was like the way you read poetry. There's this thing, one of my favorite things to do. It's not like I do it always, but you know, whatever, weird. But I would listen to some songs that are like the sounds are wholesome, but I'll lie on my back on the floor with headphones on. And one of the songs is like The Thrill Is Gone, B.B. King. It just has this fullness in the entire instrument. You can pick everything. And your poetry, the way you read it and the way you describe these things, it's this kind of, you say it's sick, sensual, blah, blah, blah. It kind of fills your mind and your ears with the entirety of it. Thanks for that. It's amazing. All right. So thank you for being here and all this. We're going back to Chris. Before we get to his next poem, we got to ask him to pick one more book from the shelf. Do your thing. What have you got?
What's this book thing you have to do?
No, he's sitting as our headliner. He's sitting before a bookshelf, and we just want to learn about his book.
I'm gonna pick this book.
Yeah.
I help run a group called Hip Hop Ed. So we do like looking at hip hop and education. And one of the guys who's been with us from the start, Jeffrey Boachi, this is his first book called Hold Tight. And it's like his personal history of grime. And every chapter is a song. So like, this is Pass Out Tiny Temper. And for every song, Shutdown, Skepta, and it's just like an unofficial history of grime told through his perspective by each chapter being his story of a different tune. He's a mad writer.
Good
and
man,
this has
man.
probably the best.
So just so you know what's happening right now.
Sorry about that. Yep.
So yeah, if you ain't come across him, Unseen Flirtations on the socials, Jeffrey Boachi.
Yep.
This and his new book Blacklisted, which is about all the different words that Black people are referred to by, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And every chapter is breaking down a different term used to describe Blackness. Like he's a mad writer.
Yeah.
And yeah, you should check him out.
All right, man. Thanks.
Boom.
Nice. Okay, so we've listened to two of his Poetcurious's work, and it's phenomenal. It's really amazing. And we have two more to go through, and then we'll just have a brief chat before the end of the night. One thing I'll ask everyone to do is please make sure you follow everyone that you like, support their work, and inspire someone to write again. I know we're doing that in all what we're doing, but just keep doing it and keep showing people that words can be beautiful. The same way a word can hurt someone, or someone's words can hurt someone else. It's the same way you can use words to build people up and to make people's lives better and to paint pictures. I like how Amy had her poem, and it was this whole trip through to Mexico, and then we have Anna's poem again, and it takes us through Berlin, and we have just gone through so many trips just in one evening. So let's just keep doing that, because we've been doing that and it's amazing, right? So cool. Next is Poetcurious. Abdullah, take it away. Do your thing.
Hey.
Abdullah. Soft spoken.
Abdullah, where you at, Abdullah? I have to do this live.
Hola.
Abdullah, we need you.
Abdullah,
your parents are here. We want to know where you are. What time do you call it?
Exactly. Past curfew.
Inside now.
Okay.
That's definitely me.
I will be your bass line, while you alto sax riff across life's stave. I will be the drum beat around which you freestyle and weave your life off page. You will provide all the cuts and scratches, and I'll try to keep you free of the turntable's grind. You will be music. I will listen to every note until our formats become incompatible, and I, made obsolete, slip back into the crate. I will become sample, you selector. Draw me when you feel lonely, and I will be your rhythm. I will be your bass line. What's up, family? I'm Poetcurious. Thank you for inviting me along, BYOB. What's up, family? I'm Poetcurious.
Remix.
That was good. You say, draw me when you're lonely. Yeah.
I wrote that for my daughters to embarrass them. I wrote that for my daughters to embarrass them.
Oh man, I like that line. Oh man, that's cool. You mentioned that you started teaching them, or you're trying to get them into poetry. How is that going?
Terribly. But I don't know, I'm more interested in them just being creative and being expressive. So I'll be honest, I don't care if my daughters get into poetry. It doesn't bother me. Like my youngest daughter, who's 12, at the moment, she's just really into like makeup, and she sits there and puts makeup on and then takes it off and then puts it on and then takes it off. And I'm like, it's still dealing with colors, dealing with shape, dealing with form. I'm like, I'm here for any of it. My eldest daughter, who is a little bit following in my hip hop fashion a little bit too closely, is like mad into trainers. Like, she's a sneaker freak. We sit and we talk about colorways, and we talk about the lines, and we talk about the history. Like, she's watching The Last Dance on Netflix at the moment. The story
Jordans, yeah, man. Sick.
And we chat about that. But I'm like, anything that's about being expressive, being creative, and that's yours. To me, that's more important than them getting into the things I'm into.
True.
But my youngest daughter did write a book of poetry when she was like 9 years old, secretly under her duvet at night. And then when it was done, she had like 12 poems. And then she just came into my room one night with all these bits of paper and was like, "Dad, can I show you my poetry?" And like, I ain't gonna lie, I cried. And her poems were so, she was like, it's like I just met her for the first night that night. Like the things she was saying in her poetry, I was like, oh, I thought I knew you. But you're chatting some really deep existential stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like she had this poem about meeting herself and getting to know herself.
Whoa.
Like, and introducing herself to herself and helping herself do the things that she, and I was like, what? Okay, you're trying to show me up and you're not. Get to bed.
Oh man, that's cool. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
As long as they're healthy and they're happy,
true.
The job is working.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, man.
All
All right, we have one more poem, and yeah, Adula.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, there we are. Yeah, so Chris, yeah, so the last video is just loading up now quickly. Could you just give everyone an introduction onto that poem as well? So it's the last one, it's the refugee poem.
Okay, so yeah, I wrote this poem about 10 years ago now. It's old. And I wrote it because I used to read to my daughters at night. I used to read them the story of the poem of the Jumblies, about these little creatures, their heads were green and their hands were blue and they went to sea in a sieve. So it's about these creatures going to sea in a sieve, which is obviously madness. And we talk about that. And at the same time, I was teaching in schools, and some of my students who were coming as refugees had these stories about how they got to this country that were equally mad and equally dangerous. And I kind of saw this parallel. So this piece is a rewriting of the Jumblies, which I always dedicate to my good friend Dino, who's an Albanian refugee who was raised by Jamaican foster parents in this country. And I always say he's the only official Jalbanian in the UK. And I'm going to start a petition to get Jalbanian added to the census as an official ethnic identity. So when you see that coming around, please sign the petition. But yeah, that's how this poem came around. And sadly, it's probably more relevant now than it was when I wrote it, which is a sad indictment on us as a species and how we treat each other. Even in these times, because you know what? Don't get me started on now. But our idiot Prime Minister, who is now going, go out, let yourself die because we need to go back to work. Just keep an eye out for the virus in case you see it coming down the road. Like, this virus isn't a mugger. Like, this virus doesn't bowl down the road like it's going to jack you in an alleyway. You can't be alert to an invisible virus that is asymptomatic for up to like 2 weeks. It's impossible. And they're just very cleverly trying to divert attention from the fact that they were working out whether enough of us could be let to die to keep themselves getting rich. And now they realize that they've got that wrong. They're trying to divert responsibility onto us. And their new campaign is clever. It's doo-doo, but it's clever, because loads of people are just going to say, well, do you want the government to tell you everything? Like when you can leave your house and when you can't leave your house? Like, don't you want to have autonomy? And I'm like, I want to have autonomy in a world where the people running my society create a safe environment in which I can make choices. Don't chuck me out into an unsafe environment telling me that that's my choice. I'm choosing to stay home until I don't think I'm going to die of coronavirus. And having lost a very close friend to this in the last few days, this thing is still real, is still killing people, and there's not one metric from any credible source that suggests it is safe to go back to what we used to call normal life. And by normal life, I mean rampant capitalism and economic oppression, which we probably shouldn't want to get back to too quickly anyway. But anyway, rant over. For the record.
In the time of that run as well, it's almost finished loading.
Almost. Oh, wow. I was worrying that you were sitting there. Oh, yeah. But honestly, and one thing I will share before this, one quote that always comes back to me when I do art and poetry is Toni Morrison wrote after the second election of George W. Bush. She wrote a piece where she was feeling like, what's the point of doing anything? And she talks in this piece, it's called like No Space for Fear, No Time for something else. I'll post the link later. And she says that when life is hard and we're all feeling kind of like, what's the point? This is exactly the time when our responsibility as artists comes into play. These are the times where our job happens, and it's our responsibility to think, to write, to share, and to shape the dialogue around which we can discuss ideas and work out how we're going to change things and make things better. And I think I read that back in like 2005 or something, and it's probably the most poignant right now, because I think I'm struggling to write about what's going on. I'm struggling to share it because it's all just happening. But I also understand that if I'm going to call myself an artist in these times, I have a responsibility to at least be collecting the things that I'll turn into art when I'm able to. And we have to get on it. But yeah.
Thanks, man.
They went to see the shit they did. With their kids they fled to see. Inspired by all that their friends would say at the crack of dawn on a stormy day, with their kids they fled to sea. They saved for months, a few £1,000s. A couple pulled out and a few more were drowned, but the rest called aloud, we had no choice. Oppression has taken our rights and our voice, and our government's all talking spin. Far and few. Far and few are the lands where the refugees live. The things they've seen and the things they knew when they went to sea just to live. Now they went across seas in a truck, they did, in a truck that drove so fast. With only a couple survivors' tales, the blindest faith and the memories of wailing mothers whose sons didn't last. And they spend their nights in monoxide haze, and each of them says, how many more days, though I feel so rough and this voyage be longer. Hope that my dad wasn't rash nor wrong, though he cried all the way in the car. Far and few. Far and few are the lands where the refugees live. Queasy green and their hands cold blue. But they went to sea just to live. Now the memories of slaughter bore deep in, because slaughters bore deep in. So to keep themselves sane, they sang and drank in between borders of distant lands, and they shiver for more than the cold. All nights and days became as one, with thoughts of home and days of fun, before the storm, before the gun, before the last hug from their mum in the shade of the mountains brown. Far and few. Far and few are the lands where the refugees live. They head for green and pastures new. But they went to sea just to live. Now they sail to the western seas, of course, to lands that are famed for their riches, and then work long days for very low pay, and when certain men come, they have to hide away from their life of dishes and sieves. No employee rights, though many didn't need them, because working your arse off to some people's freedom. And after a meal and a shave of a razor, the rest gets wrapped in a pinky paper and sent in a package back home. Far and few. Far and few are the lands where the refugees live. Now their beds are clean, and their shoes are new, and they feel like they're starting to live. And in 20 years they might go back, in 20 years or more. It all depends on how they've grown in a land without family, away from the home and the state of the homeland too. Though most won't go back. If they've built up a life, with a job, some kids, a house and a wife, they'll live as your neighbour, moan about rain, the queues for the doctor, the price of the train, and eventually the immigrants too. It's ironic, but it's true. Because far and few are the lands where the refugees live. They're just like me, and they're just like you, and they have the same rights to live. I will be your baseline.
Remix. Thank you.
Pull it, pull it, pull it.
Man, thanks for that. like every time I hear that piece, it's as poignant as the first time. It's
sadly so though, man. I can't wait for the day when that poem gets retired because no one understands why we treat people like that. But
I think that's my favorite poem of yours, to be honest.
thank you, man.
chilling background with just lawn, just you know.
That's
I mean,
like, where is Abdullah?
it's like drumming like you're Abdullah. It's like...
He got out of lockdown.
I'm chilling amongst the crickets, mate.
Yeah.
Can't get me out of it.
You and your backgrounds.
Hi.
Spoken.
I need to learn how to do those backgrounds, you know. I don't know how to do them.
I think you need
Let me see if I can bring up one.
I could try to do it the other day and it didn't work.
Oh, is it like, I think it's the virtual.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do.
All right. Thanks again, Chris, for your amazing set. It's always lovely to hear your work. And thanks for the books you recommended.
Really beautiful to do this event and be amongst family and to be repping Brent.
Yeah.
No, thank you, really, and thank you for everyone's appreciation and everyone's contributions tonight. It's been dope.
I mean, all the poets are amazing today. I'll do a run through because I've got the list here. Thanks, Amy, Harry Vag, Adoma, Dedalus, Amy, McAllister, Angela, Diary, Beck, X, Lantern Carrier, Fatima. Okay, Fatima was not here. Maggie, had. Wait. Yeah.
Here I am, I'm back.
Metaphorist, we had Jamie Crowder, we had Big Scoop and Chris. Thanks all for coming, for being amazing. One of the things that we usually like asking, ¿Qué pasa?
We just stop. Give some
One of the things I like asking for is if your poems are available to be read, like the ones you've shared today. Like the dream for me would be after every BYOB, we collect everything into like a short anthology just for that every show and have that available in some form or way. Because experiencing a poem, I think I was reading the Harvard Business Review one time and they talked about a poem must be read twice. And because the first time you just get a part of it, and the second time you get that other, the deeper part. And some poems you just keep reading it and having very cool thing. And there's this other thing where a friend of mine, he's a poet too, Joshua Judson, some of you London people know him. He says this thing where that as a poet, it's very cool when you can cover another poet's poem. Because artists do that every time they, sing someone else's song. But once in a while, you should pick a poem like someone else's and read it, and because it gives new life to the poem and it gives you a new insight into the poem. And there's just a whole new, I think that'll push community to another level, hopefully, right? So thanks for coming. Please make sure you put your links. It's been fabulous having you. Our next show is next week. So this open mic will be open. Sign up for open mic to be open by tomorrow. If you know anyone who you would love to hear here, please just tell them to holler at us and we'll get back to them. Hopefully we'll have a live show when this whole thing ends and we'll all be able to give each other a hug, because I've not hugged anyone in like a month and it's ridiculous.
Oh, real.
Like, okay. And we have to, shout out to Brent 2020 for giving this kind of funding for stuff like this to happen. And especially in the lockdown period, now it's like what they were hoping for was a big, party and a very large gathering, but we couldn't do that. But still, they could still push the funding to ensure that this will happen online and a lot of people can enjoy the arts and find solace in the beautiful world that exists. Because if we listen to only the news and not poetry, we would only get the ugly picture. But poetry right now, from everything you've heard this evening, has been painting the picture of, it's not an illusion, but the actual world we live in. And that is the beautiful part of it. So shout out to them also. Thank you and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Quickly, just before we go off stream, so today we did a pre-show. So I think it was John and Steve that performed on it. We're thinking of doing the same thing again next week. So what do you think about doing like a pre-show on Instagram before we do the show here?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Get warmed up.
I don't know if it might be too much if we did an after show as well, but I think we'll just leave as it is right now. I'm exhausted. I need to rehydrate.
Yeah.
Having started listening to you guys, I don't know how many you even have on feed.
You've got a bit of sunstroke, surely, out there on the beach.
Exactly. I'm evaporating. That's what it is. All right. See you guys soon, guys. See you guys.
Thank you so much for sharing your pieces, guys. That was sick. You guys were sick, bro. Girls as well, bro. Keep saying, bro.
So I can follow people if I have.
Yeah, I think everyone should put their socials in the thing and then screenshot it so you can follow later.
Yep.
I think that'd be a sick idea.
Close the live stream, please, and then we can carry on talking. We need to take off.
Let's just end the live stream.